place to be in?
Well, to start with, I think what you are doing in this industry is much more better than what I do. I'm just entertaining people, and you're actually helping people, which I think is amazing. What my father said about the business part, because I did business management in school, commerce. I just feel a story that my mother had mentioned when I was a child, and that got stuck into my head of the Arjun, where he had to, hit the arrow in the eye of the fish, and all the other people said, we see the fish, we see birds behind it, we see a tree, and he could only see the eye. So I feel if it's sports, business, music, focusing, and I'm very young to say all of this, but I just feel focus is very important. Hard work in any profession doesn't have a substitute. As they say, 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. So, yes. And then regarding, I was just like you. I was not wanting to be in music as a child. I was more interested in sports, what my other friends used to do at the age of 10. But I think both my parents, in fact, more my mother, to be very honest, kept reminding me of my father's dream that, he'll be really happy, and, your father, his grandfather. And I don't know, it just started all sinking in, everything put together. And by the time I was 12, 13, and I was also a smart child, I realized that my father is a superstar, and I think this is the only profession where I can be helped better. And I was not that keen on studying, and I was not, thank you for your kind words, you called me a prodigy. I was never a prodigy. I had to really work hard, and I'm still really working hard.
I answer, that's superb. Thank you, Aman. I answer a question for you. We get asked this many times. There are four of us, but there are two of you. And I think you guys are joined at the hip. You think alike, you work alike, and it shows in your performances. Is staying together a challenge, or is it just automatic? It's just part of your DNA. What happens?
No, I mean, I think my brother and I, even though we have the same DNA, but we don't think alike at all. I mean, we both have a point of view, but I think because we work together so often, I mean, not just on stage, even off stage, we've done many, like you mentioned, we've done so many different kind of things, including co-authoring books together. So obviously when you want to achieve a certain kind of excellence, differences are only natural, especially when you want to see the end result, you want to see the eventual outcome. But I think for us as a family, we valued togetherness, we valued staying together, and I think we were so blessed that we were, because my father is also my guru, we were constantly learning at every moment, even when he was dropping us to school, occasionally when he was not traveling. Something was being taught in the car. Something can be taught from the walk from stage till the elevator here. So it's constant. And I think for us, before our profession, I think importance was given to family ties. Importance was given to family pride. I think though my parents, of course, told us that we are free to do what we want, but like I said earlier, technical brilliance or musical fireworks would be secondary. The primary thing would be, to give respect, to do things correctly, to have the right code of conduct. They told us even in school that even if you're not doing well in studies, we should not be called to school on account of bad behavior. So, I mean, I'm not saying we are saints. I mean, we had a set of ups and downs. But I think, yes, togetherness is something, it's like a fragrance which we value. But obviously, with the times we live in, I think everyone wants their space, everyone wants their own, everything has a routine, a schedule. So, sometimes it's not easy, but then the thing is we value it, and we truly are a part of that thought process.
Thank you. You're a bit larger than life, but you seem human after all. Thank you. Kansab, so who gets the credit for, keeping the boys in tow, keeping the family together, and keeping the rest of the world admiring all of you? Is it Subbalakshmi Akka or is it you?
No, no, you are right, because I often, from the very beginning, I realized that every mother is the first guru of a child. So she's the guru first, and she has given so much, and we all depend on her. And I was very fortunate that nobody, my in-laws, they were very kind people, knowing that I'm a musician, I'm not a businessman, I'm not a rich man, they gave their daughter to me. So it's a great, I will never forget, because the family is so cultured. And even today, the marriage of two different religions is not so easy. It was never easy, and even today it's not easy. But my father, who was my guru, he not only taught me music, but he also made me realize that all of us have a common God, and we are the common race. My family members, they always, control me and always say, please don't talk about religion. You are not a priest. Thank God I'm not a priest. Because priest is not saying this message, unfortunately. I hope every priest of every religion should give this message to the world. Why, in spite of so much education, we are still doing the same thing, we are still hating each other. Nobody think that all of us come in the same way and we go away also in the same way. There's no room for second God also in our country, in the world. But it's very sad, day by day it's becoming difficult to internationally travel. Everywhere destruction, everywhere terrorism. I hope someday and soon it is controlled. So she has been a greatest gift of God to our life, and she has taken so much responsibility that sometimes she's not feeling comfortable. She nearly said she's not coming to Chennai, so we all had to drag her. Preetha wanted you, you have to come. So that's why she came here.
Ma, this might be a good time to say thank you.
See, mothers are special. I hope my sons say the same to me. So before I ask the audience to interact, I just have one quick question for each one of you. If you could do one thing to change something in our country to make it a better place to live in, more worthwhile, what would it be? And can I start with Ayan?
I think...
Anything, you can dream, you can say.
I mean, I do know that we still have a very large section of people who don't have access to good sanity, access to proper food, proper education. I hope that every individual and every growing child just benefits in the best way possible. I do know that a lot of work still has to be done, especially in the interiors, from whatever observation I've made.
Thank you. Aman?
I have two things. First is I feel in a country where we worship women, we should not be, we should kill the hypocritical society of doing Devi Puja and then not respecting women. Even in Hinduism and in Islam, also they say the Jannat is in your mother's feet. And here again, women are not respected. So I just feel that needs to really change. We need to respect. And second is a personal problem, which is I think in our country we should allow cross-cultural religion marriages, because by that we all will start learning more about each other. And it'll become India. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Kansab, what is that one thing you could do to change the country?
I wish I could change anything in this country. All the change the ruling party, they can do because they have the power and management. But I only hope and feel that Mr. Modi, while he's the Prime Minister, every Indian should have water and food and electricity in their house. I hope every Indian should be comfortable, and this price rise, whatever is every day, is going so high. So everybody, every person, no matter what religion he belongs to, should feel comfortable, should feel happy and secured in this country.
I think one should be able to give the best to the world, and they say the best will come to you. For me, there's a lot to say, but I am not a politician to make the rules or whatever the government can do. They can do a lot, but we should not be selfish. We should not think about only ourselves. We should be able to think. It is our country, we have people of very rich, very poor, and the compassion has to be there in one's mind, truly, genuinely, so that whatever my family members have mentioned, I agree with them. Food, education, electricity, water, respecting women, not just praising her. They don't, I'm not saying they do it only on stage, but they do respect me otherwise also. But it has to be really with each one of us that we can give the best to the world, because our country is a very large country with a lot of blessings of God. Kadavul kite ide dana keke porde. Tamil rumba nalla ache peshe ille. Analum naan eniche iniki kunjam peshi paakare. Thank you.
நீங்க திருப்பி திருப்பி சென்னைக்கு வரணும் சுபலக்ஷ்மி ஜி. அப்போ முன்ன தமிழ் பேசின மாதிரி திருப்பி பேச முடியும்.
I'm from Assam. As you know, my Tamil is always will be secondary standard of Tamil speaking. But analum பேசுறதுக்கு எனக்கு ரொம்ப ஆசை இருக்கு.
Just one more thing I would like to share, that again I learned from my guru that adjustment of life is the greatest prayer. Whether you adjust in your office or you adjust at home. So bardasht or sabr, Urdu mein kehte hain कि if we must have a lot of patience and tolerance. And this process, this way of life itself is the greatest prayer. I would like to share what we do at home with Aman Ayan. When we are preparing a concert, we sing also, because singing is very important before we play anything on the sarod. So we can recite a composition, how we sing that and then play on the sarod. Da 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 So this is Rag Kedara. In 13th century, there was a great Sufi saint, Hazrat Amir Khusro, who created Qawwali called Kalbana, and also he created a style of singing called Tarana. Tarana doesn't deal with language. He created a language of syllables language of music, Tanatom, Tadaredani, Dirdirdani. So I have composed many taranas as a tribute to Hazrat Amir Khusro. And in South you say Tillana, but we say Tarana. Tadaredani, Tadaredani, Tadani dim, Tanatanum.
Tadaredani tadani dim tanatanum. Tadaredani tadani dim tanatanum. Tanum tananum taderena. Taderena, 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 tadaredani tadani dim tanatanum. Tananana dim tananana tananana dim tananana tananum 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 tadaredani da kirtaka dum kirtaka detta kranda 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 tadaredani tadani dim tanatanum.
So this is tarana.
Thank you so much. That was beyond expectation. And I have to tell you this, that, when I was a student in Kalakshetra, your wife was one of the first apsaras of Rukmani Devi's dance drama, the Ramayana, and it was the last one, the Mahapatabhishekam. And there were 4 beautiful apsaras who she handpicked, and they were chosen to do. So, the whole Ramayana, especially the war scene, was done by these apsaras, and you can guess who one of the most beautiful apsaras was. So she did a tilana at that time, and I remember that so well, right?
Atte, as we call Rukmini Devi Arundel, she was such a great artist. Her imagination was something totally different. Instead of just showing Ravana fighting, she showed the 4 apsaras explaining from the heaven how Rama and Ravana were fighting. So one is questioning the other one. How is Rama and Ravana's fight? He says, Gagana Gaganakaram Sagara Sagaropamaha. Rama Ravana Yuddham Rama Ravana Yuriva. Samudra, the ocean can be compared only with ocean. And the sky can be only compared with sky. Similarly, Rama Ravana Yuddham is like Rama Ravana Yuddham only. So we Apsaras were up there and we were seeing the dance, the fight going on between Ram and Ravana. Instead of showing the fight so much, she made us dance to explain, and we were asking each other, what is it, how is it? And we were showing them, well, this is what it is. So it was her great creation that she explained it so beautifully.
She was a great leader. So, Khan Sahib, there's a question from one of the audience, and it says that a champion speaker said once, music is the key of life. What is that you wish to convey to all of us on music? Music is the key of life. So, what is the message you want to convey to all of us on music?
One should listen to music, appealing music, no matter what kind of music. If you like European music, there's a beautiful folk music in our country. So any appealing music, one should be able to listen. It will help you in everything, whatever you're doing in your life. Because every human being is born with sound and rhythm. The heartbeat is an indication of rhythm. And what we speak, conversation, recitation, chanting, singing, they are all part of music. So I think you should be very fair, give questions for all 4 of us, not only for me.
So I'm going to pass the question to both Aman and Ayan, but while you do this, there's a question from Mr. Sridhar of Great Lakes Institute of Management, and he says, please share the importance of practice to become an ustad in the present fast-paced world, tongue twister. Everyone wants to become a leader and they're looking for quick fix solutions. So what is your answer to that?
Well, my answer to that would be, I've always been a big fan of hard work. You can be born to a big family, a big father, a big guru, but you should not take that for granted and not think everything will fall in your feet. You have, in fact, the pressure is beautiful, but it increases. As they say, work now, party later, or party now and work later. So I feel that is very important, hard work to start with. And also, me personally as a person, I believe that we should not criticize people. We can analyze them, but to criticize anybody, that this person is not right and he's wrong or she's wrong, which I feel is a very negative thing to do. Because I think everybody has 5% of positivity in them. So we should be able to take out that from the person. And if you see any leaders, what I have seen, little bit what I've read about leaders, they're very positive people. They see little things. It's like my mother telling me, learn from an ant. It never gives up. It keeps climbing, falling, but it doesn't give up. So as human, why should you?
Ayan, what's your view on
I
hard
think-
work?
Yeah, I think hard work, of course, is the mantra to everything in life. And I think your leadership qualities can also be seen through your body of work. I don't think you need to be coronated a leader, but just your body of work itself can make you a leader of your field, can make you a leader of your craft. So I think end of the day, it is hard work. And like I said, along with hard work, that quotient, that element of blessing is, I think, extremely important. I think that's what makes A stand different from B. I think that's what it is.
So do you, just watch your dad and work hard? Or do you just do it to please him because it'll make dad happy? Or do you do it because it just excites you? Because I know in my case, we go to work on Sundays. And I started off doing that because it made my dad happy. I would wake up on a Sunday morning and, thinking, what shall I make for the kids? Maybe spend the day at home. And I'll call my father around 10:30, 11 and say, Dad, what are you up to? What's going on? And he'd be sitting in the office on Sunday. The only difference is he doesn't wear a tie on Sundays and he goes home for lunch. But having said that, he won't say anything, but he'll say, why you think people don't get sick on Sunday, is it? So that was the way he would answer. And I would quickly change and, be in the office in 15 minutes. So as a culture, we all work on Sundays. So did you do it for your dad or you do it just for yourselves?
Well, it started, to be honest, at that young age, when you're 13, 14, you want your parents' attention. So it started from by impressing them, to be honest, mother and father, because then, we will get incentives, from them which used to motivate us to do it. But today I think it's not about just, for me it's just not about pleasing my parents, but today it's about wanting them to be proud of me. I don't know if they are, but that's what I would want them to be. And also, because I have a younger brother who's my friend, who's my companion, even in his view, I would like to be a good musician. So both ways, I'm pretty much in trouble.
I think initially, obviously, every child wants that kind of attention or, that kind of acknowledgement from his or her parents. So initially, of course, a lot of I did, I knew that it's going to make my father happy or it's going to, make my mother happy. But beyond a point, then you're pretty much, answerable to yourself. What standards you are setting for yourself professionally. And because you have to be extremely aware of what's happening around you. So I think I was not oblivious about, where, hard work has reached, where talent has reached. So you obviously have to do a reality check. And while you do that, if it makes, your parents happy, it obviously gives you that extra energy shot, that you continue doing what you're doing. But of course, approval is something, I think, hypothetical, but then if it comes your way, if it comes your way, then it feels wonderful.
So there, from two different people, a question which is kind of similar. It's from Akila Murthy and R. Vardarajan. And the question is that, leadership has brought growth in the family. is it not very good for music? And the other question is, art and business are two different entities. Is it right to take up art as a business, keeping money as the prime motto? And surprisingly, they're both addressed to Sublakshmi Akka, because I guess they think they know you're the keeper of the flame, and you're the one who keeps the whole family together. So they want your opinion on that.
Well, I don't think that's the right question for me. It's too technical. But I think with business, if you combine art, I think that will be wonderful, because we all need that sense of music brings softness to life. With all your hard work of business or whatever you do, you come back home, you want to relax. Music is a must. And making money through music, I would say today it is not only classical music, there are ways of, the diversification of music has gone to a different level altogether. People are doing many types of music. And those who have taken music seriously, they are also human beings. They also have to eat. They have to also, look after the family. And being musician, it is not a guna, what do you call? It's not a sin to become a musician or live well. Why not, by doing this, if you are able to afford it, have a good life? Musicians does not have to be always, with a begging bowl or something like that. They can also live well, provided they plan well. But most of the musicians, we don't plan well in life. But also, with the business people's support and where things are today, with the social media, we are also learning. Life is a constant process of learning. So we are learning to be at par, if not with the business, but to be the best in the music or the art world. I think that's all I can say.
I think Khan Saab answered it very well in his earlier interaction a few minutes ago. And he said that you have to aim for spirituality and excellence. And the material aspect of it is just a byproduct. I think that was my understanding from what he told us. And if that attitude can also happen in business, business, leadership, growth, it's really not about making money. You can be in any business, you can make a ton of cash, you can be in a startup, and it's only about valuations. You make money and then you move on to something else. But then you have to take the money and you have to invest it, and that money has to grow, and then you leave a legacy behind. So it's really about leaving a legacy behind. Why is
the giving, the art of giving
it back
to sharing a good thing, to share a good thing, an art of living, the pleasure of giving and sharing. I think it matters a lot.
No, while they were talking about making the parents happy, I just felt like sharing that for us, me and my wife, the greatest attraction of our life is our grandchildren, Abir and Zohan. When they come home, they come to music room, and to entertain them, I play Jingle Bell on the sarod. And they start dancing, and they are into trance, and they feel so happy. So they are enjoying music, and this is very important. To begin with, you should enjoy music, you should feel music, realize music. And then gradually, you also understand what is Sare Gama Padani.
So you're well beyond your time.
When she was talking about this, that we musicians, we live on music and we live for music. In earlier days, the Raja, Maharaja, the king, and they used to patronize. Patronize is a very important word. They needed a patronage, but it was also a big punishment for the musicians. Every day, how to please a Raja who does not understand music. So how they survived, how our culture survived, how our music survived, and those 200 years of British rule, even then our culture survived, our music survived. But unfortunately, we could not have a good orchestra in our country. The symphony orchestra, every town in Europe, every city in America, everywhere, they have their own orchestra, and I composed for Scottish Chamber Orchestra. And now we are performing with so many, because this collective, we are not so good in, producing together. We are very good giving a solo concert, but we could not create a beautiful symphony orchestra in our country. Even today, we don't have an orchestra of national level. We always hire musicians from Kazakhstan and all these neighboring countries. So it's very nice to hear European music, how 150 musicians together produce a beautiful piece of music. So we must...
But I think South is better than North because they have Talwad kacharis. Much better.
Yes, yes. I mean, we feel at home in South, anywhere, all the 4 or 5 states. So because I always feel in South India, there's a much more realization of God and culture.
Khan Sahib, so, after listening to you, there's a thought that if you look at the politics of India, there also there's no coming together. It's a bit like solo artists in every state. And if they came together, we'd probably have a more beautiful, a better tapestry in India.
The present situation is very scary. And I only hope, and I feel that politics should not become a profession. Politics should not become a profession of politicians. So we need people, dedicated people like Mahatma Gandhi and the people, our freedom fighters, selflessly, they were committed and they were dedicated to the good of our country. So we need more committed people, dedicated people in the field of politics also. We have great expectation from Mr. Modi. He's a well-meaning person. Recently when I met him, he says, Khan Sahab, aap kaan ki safai to karte hai, और देश की भी सफाई के लिए आप मैसेज दीजिए थोड़ा मतलब कान की सफाई थ्रू आवर म्यूजिक वी आर क्लीनिंग द ईयर्स ही सेज प्लीज स्प्रेड दिस मैसेज ऑफ क्लीनलीनेस स्वच्छता स्वच्छ भारत निर्माण इट्स ए वेरी ब्यूटीफुल एंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट मैसेज आई होप आवर कंट्री एवरी सिटी इज क्लीन and we have more hospitals all in every town in every city of our country.
Ayan, if there was a musician as the Prime Minister of our country, would it be a more beautiful country?
We'll definitely have a very evolved cultural wing. I mean, if that happens, I don't know how good it will be for the financial part of it and the administration part of it, because I don't think artists are good administrators, frankly speaking.
Pritha, if you remember when Rukmini Devi Arundel was nominated for the presidentship, we all said, no, Atte, don't go, because we knew how we have, in the Kalakshetra, how she handled us. I thought if she was going to handle the whole country, it will be something not very nice, we thought.
So there you got an honest feedback that the musicians to me are more evolved because they are very spiritual and there's no point bringing them back down to doing something like this.
But there is this aspect of musicianship in Mr. Modi that he plays a very good drum. I saw him playing drum when he was in Japan I think, or Korea, wherever. So he has some important factor of music in him, and we need a person who can control the whole nation.
Aman and Ayan, any